You cheat on your woman, but you don't want her to cheat on you because you know cheating is wrong. You cheat for sex, but when she cheats for love and affection. She cheats with someone she could potentially replace you with. Women are not afraid to love, commit, and be loyal. But the problem sometimes is with you men.
Yeah, guys, all of these girls out here cheating on their boyfriends and husbands, they're doing it because they just want some love and affection. You ever notice how when women cheat, it's because they are lacking something in the relationship and the man isn't providing it? But when the man cheats, it's because he's disgusting and he can't control himself. It seems like no matter which way you kind of split it, the man is always to blame. Very interesting how that works. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're actually going to go, a bit more in depth on this whole OF situation. Last video, we had a bit of a joke. If you didn't know, they're currently taking down, or going to be taking down, all of the spicy content on their platform. So all these girls selling pictures of themselves and stuff like that, they're going to be out of the job. Now, I had a bit of a laugh at this, saying that, these girls are actually going to have to do something with their lives and not chalk it up to being, oh, well, I'm a successful business owner, when all they're doing is selling pictures of themselves online. I had a bit of a joke and said that they're going to have to get a job. But guys, there's a bit more to it than that, and that's something we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we crack into it, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, guys, make sure you subscribe on your way in, and come and join the locals and Discord links in the description. Both of them are totally free to join, and if anything happens to the channel, you will be notified. Also, if you're interested in entering the art competition, guys, that ends on September 30th, 2021. First gets $350 and down to third who gets 100. And also 4th to 10th get honorable mentions if you would like to be. So if you're interested in entering our community competition, guys, make sure you send the submissions to mrfiend11@gmail.com. And if you're interested in entering, make sure you read the details linked in the description. But that's enough on that, guys. We're just going to quickly jump into this article here. So in case you don't know what has been going on, we're going to give you a quick run through. So what is OF? OF is a site where fans pay creators for their photos and videos. Its creators cover a range of professions, including photographers, cooks, personal trainers, fashion influencers, and TV personalities. But its most important most popular content by far, is the spicy stuff. OF users pay a monthly subscription fee between $5 and $50 to view a feed of images. They can also pay for exclusive content and give tips for custom pictures or videos. So basically, all of these girls out here saying that they're strong, successful business owners and they're entrepreneurs. This is what they have been doing. Dude, all these girls, man, on their yachts, in their rented condos, taking pictures of themselves. A lot of it is from this. Okay, if you don't know, maybe you're new to this and you don't really understand what's going on. Girls are literally out here making over 100K a month, selling this kind of stuff about themselves online. Literally earning above most people's annual salary in a month. There's a lot of money in this. But let's continue with the article before we kind of get to today's main points. So why are they banning the content? In a statement, OF said that the content ban was to comply with the requests of its banking partners and payment providers in order to ensure the long-term sustainability of the platform and to continue to host an inclusive community of creators and fans. We must evolve our content guidelines. It said it would allow creators to post content containing this certain kind of stuff if it was consistent with the OF policies. OF said that it would be sharing more information in coming days. The announcement follows a certain large website's operator MindGeek revising its safety and security policies earlier this year. One of the largest websites to do this sort of stuff was under pressure from payment processors concerned by certain reports earlier this year. Now, this is hilarious, right? Because and something we're going to get into later. But a lot of the right off the bat, a lot of the older ladies, a lot of girls who don't necessarily get a lot of attention or can't do this kind of stuff, they're really happy about this change. And what they're trying to paint it as is though, oh well, at least someone cares about the ladies. At least someone is out here protecting the ladies from themselves, right? And that's something we're going to be getting into later. But it's just really funny to see all the different ways that this is spun by a lot of different people. You got the girls out here crying because they're losing their income and they're paying rent with this money. Then you got the other girls who are happy about it because now they can finally get some of the attention going around. You know, there's just all sorts of competing interests here. Anyway, what has the reaction been? Content creators are mostly angry at the proposed ban, which is some of people's primary source of income. In response to the announcement, creator Meredith Jacqueline tweeted, "Cool, so I'm effed." Man, I am not, I make these videos every day, guys. Like, I try and get out 2 a day for you guys before I head out. But let me just say this. I am not a fan of social media, and let me tell you something. 2 sites in particular that are that will make you lose brain cells are Twitter and Reddit. Reddit is a great source of content for this channel, guys, because, dude, anyone can get over that. You will see the average of people's relationships, and you will see all of the stuff that we talk about here kind of come to fruition. You'll get guys over there, "I'm confused, my wife cheated on me." You'll get girls over there, "How come Chad won't commit to me?" Reddit is a fantastic place to see what is actually happening to people, right? And it's got no barrier to entry, right? All these people come on, they complain about their situation and give terrible advice, and it's honestly some of the worst stuff. But Twitter is a whole nother beast. Dude, Twitter is like where the SJW collective, that's where they all go, man. It's like these people just get in arguments and goodness me, you could not pay me money to communicate with people on Twitter. Unless I have to commission someone for something or whatever. But Twitter is a terrible platform. Anyway, enough of a rant on that. OF, its decision has also raised questions as to how the platform will survive without this kind of content. Another creator, Kenneth Pabin, told the New York Times, "OF is how I pay my rent. I feed myself from this. The ban has been compared to blogging site Tumblr's decision to ban this kind of content in 2018. So, gentlemen, there are going to be a bunch of different effects from this, but what I will say is this. This will not be the end of this kind of work. People have realized just how much money is in doing this sort of thing. Okay, so all of these girls out here who have these sorts of accounts and are doing this thing, they're not going to stop just because this platform is down. There's going to be another platform. People are going to create their own platforms. And the girls realize just how much money this is. Even the girls who have 60 to 100 subscribers, customers, consumers, whatever the hell you want to call them. Even the girls who have these sorts of numbers still are able to pay their rent. Right, so they're still going to continue to do this rather than go out and work a job. So I don't know what the next site is going to be. I don't know where these girls are going to go. But make no mistake, there are a lot of people that are going to be moving to different platforms. Just for some context on some numbers here, how many people use OF? OF, which was founded in 2016, says it has 130 million users and 2 million creators. The site has boomed in popularity during the something we can't talk about on the internet and been a way for people struggling financially to make money. It is not available as an app, and last week they released a safer work app with none of the spicy stuff called something or other that features free videos of cookings, workouts, and music. This is hilarious. Okay, and when I made that video yesterday, guys, and we kind of went over this, I had a bit of a laugh and was saying all these girls are going to be out of the job, and and it's going to be hilarious for us. But there are a few points I'd like to make, and I've actually whipped up a bit of a notepad, so I'm going to kind of read through them here. Feel free to leave your thoughts and opinions, guys. Like these are just my opinions that I'm going to be sharing with you. But I've made a bit of a notepad here to highlight some of the things, some of the speculations that I have. So this is assuming that OF actually does carry out some of their stuff here. Like they actually do carry it all the way out, which if they're being pressured by the banks, I can only assume that they're eventually going to carry this out in its entirety, and it is actually going to be a change. But just assuming that the change does go through, here's some of the things that I think will come up. So first of all, the people who are serious about it, it's not going to matter for a lot of people. A lot of people, like I said, are going to go out and they're going to source another platform. I don't know what platform it will be. I don't know where they will go, but there is going to be another one because there is too much money involved. In the short term, the people who are relying on it for rent, who maybe have a smaller amount of subscribers or whatever the case may be, they're actually going to have to go and get a job. They're actually going to have to go out and do something. in order to pay their bills and to make it work, which is pretty hilarious. But that's going to be in the short term. A lot of girls, like I said, are going to set up another account on different things. They're going to move over to safer work, quote unquote, sites like Twitch. Yesterday, I brought up the fact that I think it was yesterday or the day before. There's a platform called Twitch, if you didn't know, primarily used for gaming and other stuff. But it has streaming services on there, and and there's also a chatting section, and a lot of girls go over there to make money off the dudes who will throw money at them for no reason. So the point is, there's a lot of different ways for girls to monetize themselves. They are realizing, and they are going to go and do that. Now, if we jump back in. So the girls with small followings will be able to transfer their followings, but the girls who have the larger followings will not necessarily be able to transfer everyone. So those girls that you see out there who are renting the really expensive condos, doing all this crap that they have no business doing, they're not going to be able to sustain that necessarily. And it's going to be harder for them to kind of transfer their audience. The girls who have lower numbers, they're going to, as disgusting as it is to say, they're probably going to have an easier time moving their audience because they've built a quote unquote they've built a relationship with the people on the platform. A lot of guys actually sign up to this stuff because they're lonely and they want someone to talk to, and whatever the case may be. And they'll actually as far as I know, there's like a chat feature in there so that you can set up like buying pictures off of the girl and stuff like that. So I believe a lot of guys are buying this not just for the fact that they can get like pictures, right? But a lot of it actually comes down to the fact it's kind of like a parasocial relationship where dudes will pay for this crap so that they can have someone to talk to and feel like they're in like a mini relationship. And dude, look, if you want to go out and you want to pay for this stuff, that's totally fine. Like, do you, man? Like, go out and do you. I don't particularly care. But make no mistake, a lot of these girls out here, they don't respect the dudes that are paying money. You're not in some sort of relationship. The girl doesn't, like, it's not for me, man. If you're going to go out and do it, that's totally fine. But look, a lot of girls will be able to transfer their audience to their smaller audiences to other platforms and stuff like that because they've actually built a little relationship with the dudes. But let's continue. The stigma around the work will continue to be going away. Okay, so you will notice that a lot of girls who do this sort of work and in this field, there's a huge push at the moment that we all should be aware of girls saying, well, I should be able to do whatever we've all seen it on this channel before, time and time again, guys. I should be able to do whatever I want. I should be able to do this and that. Hell, you will see people in relationships at the moment where girls have these accounts and the boyfriends just put up with it. Right? There's a whole push to, and I hate to use this word, but there's a whole push to normalize this sort of stuff, and it is not going to stop. In fact, a lot of people are going to use this as an excuse. A lot of girls are going to use this to say, oh, well, we're oppressed. We can't do this anymore because, we're being told not to. How come we can't do whatever we want? And they're actually going to use this to say that, it's unfair against women and all this kind of crap. This whole push to destigmatize this sort of work, it will continue. Just because this site may go down, or not necessarily go down, but obviously lose a lot of revenue. Just because this change is being made does not mean that it is necessarily an overall blow to the fact that people are still pushing to have this sort of stuff in society. As sad as that is to say, and we'd love to walk away and take it as a big win, it's not necessarily a big win, but I'm interested in hearing your guys' thoughts on that. I could definitely be wrong there for sure, but as far as I'm concerned, the stigma around this sort of work will continue to go away as girls continue to push for, oh, well, we can do whatever the hell we want and treat a relation, that sort of thing. Let's continue. Like I said, there's going to be other sites that offer the same services, and a lot of girls will be able to move. A lot of girls have seen just how much money is in it, and they are going to go somewhere else to get that money. Whether that be them making their own site and the banks being, your site being too small, so they're not going to pay attention to it, or whether that be just joining another subscription site that has similar functionality to Patreon/OF itself. Girls will be moving. And here's the thing: some of the girls will treat this whole OF change as a way to say, oh, well, we can't do what we want with our bodies. We're being oppressed. This change is so unfair to us, and they're actually going to use it to push the agenda of being able to do whatever the hell they want, which is something I mentioned a second ago. The girls who have this is an important one, right? the girls who have a proclivity towards doing this kind of stuff or have done it in the past, um, it still does not make them wife or girlfriend material. Okay, we saw earlier this year, I believe it was Riley Reid, right? She ended up getting a boy. No, excuse me. She ended up getting a husband. Now, Riley Reid is a very famous internet celebrity, shall we say, for her work, shall we say. And, you know, she got a husband this year. I believe that was her anyway. She got a husband as far as I know. And man, I don't know about you, but that is just straight up embarrassing for the dude. Okay, but make no mistake, if you're a guy and you value yourself, you value your commitment, I would highly recommend, but again, this is totally up to you. I would highly recommend that you do not commit to a girl that is in this line of work. Okay, I think that men should be valuing their commitment a bit more and not giving it out to people who, quite frankly, do not deserve it. Okay, people's actions do actually define them, and as much as, you know, you got these girls out here saying, oh, you shouldn't judge me on my past, you shouldn't decide, you know, what happened. The past is the past, a real man's going to accept me. I mean, you see this crap all the time, right? Like, oh, a real man's going to accept me, doesn't matter what my past is, all this BS, right? No. Okay, if you're a man, please understand that you should be respecting yourself and respecting your commitment. Okay, your commitment should not be something that you're just giving away to these people just because you like how she looks. Okay, her actions define her. Just make sure she's a good fit. If you're going to go out there and have a girlfriend, God forbid you want to have a wife in this day and age, man, please vet the people that you allow into your life. And you know, you can make the decision to have whoever you want in your life. I'm not there to decide that for you. All I'm saying is just be careful, because a lot of these girls who are in this work, or you know, who have considered doing this stuff, they're just straight up not worth it. But let's continue down here. Excuse me, this notepad's going a bit funny. All right, and here's a really funny thing, and this is going to be a segue into the next part of the show, guys. Girls who cannot use OF due to them being too old, that's what I mean here. So the girls who are too old and don't want to put pictures of themselves online and do all this sort of stuff, those girls are very happy about this change. And this is something we're going to jump into a minute. You see, it's not only that the money is changing hands here, it's also the fact that a lot of girls are realizing, hey, wait a minute, we're going to be losing a lot of attention here. And the girls and some other girls are realizing, hey, wait a minute, we're actually going to be able to gain a lot of attention over here, right? So all those old girls that you see, they're having a field day because they're going, oh, well, hey, all the attention might be off the young girls now. Now we'll get our time to get some free attention. So you got to understand, it's not just the money changing hands here. A lot of this still actually comes down to attention. And, you know, we know how girls are with the attention. In fact, I'm going to pull this article up here momentarily as all of my tabs just crashed, but we've pulled it up. And let's have a look at this. Small wins. OF is to ban the spicy content. OF is cracking down on the spicy content. And blah, blah, blah. Small victories. Details, and this is what we outlined at the beginning. Effective on October 1st, 2021, OF will prohibit the posting of any content containing this kind of conduct. The company said, blah, 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 what we mentioned earlier. According to OF, creators will be continued to allow to post content containing this sort of stuff as long as it is consistent with our acceptable use policy. It is on its way out, gentlemen. It absolutely is. If it is not on its way out, I would be very surprised that they don't eventually just cleanse the entire site of this sort of stuff. But it sounds as like they're going through with it. Now, as you can see, the ladies on this subreddit are older ladies. Okay, and the funny part about this is they're treating it as though it's a win. Right? And the reason why they're treating it as a win is because, hey, you see, what the older girls will say is, they'll say, oh, well, you shouldn't be doing this because, you know, you should, all it comes down to is attention, really. They don't care about the younger girls. They don't care about what their decisions are. It all comes down to the fact, oh, we get attention now. I want to point out something very interesting, okay? You might not be aware, but a certain large website that was also responsible for producing this kind of content a couple of years ago, I believe, came under fire for maybe it was last year. It came under fire for certain kind of content it was featuring. Now, I find it very, very interesting that certain site came under fire only after you see all of these girls after OF became popularized. You see, what happens is, Girls realize it's bad for business and it's bad for attention when the attention goes elsewhere. This is why it's so important. Look, when we talk about stuff on this show, guys, and we talk about men who choose to walk away from relationships, and if you are in a relationship, oftentimes it is powerful to walk away from terrible behavior. Girls hate that stuff. And the reason why is because they lose so much power when men walk away. They lose so much power when men don't give them attention anymore. They lose so much power when men don't give them money anymore. And they lose their damn minds over it. Now, my client here is frozen. I'm going to see if I can jump back into this article here. And this is something that I'd kind of like to show you guys. If I could just find the point here. Let's have a look. Okay, so see, these are some of the comments to the thread here. And we're just going to go through them. I had to check the news to see if this was real, but after reading an article, seeing the pressures from the banking partners, this explains everything. It's always about money. They found success on the backs of mostly female platform and mostly male audience, and now they have the name recognition. They can begin to alter exactly how they exploit folks to appease the people funding them for their more ambitious goals. Something to really highlight here, gentlemen, is you will notice that when younger ladies engage in this sort of stuff, so when girls put pictures of themselves online and they want to sell that sort of stuff, notice how a lot of people want to frame it as though those girls are being used, right? It's not. You notice how it's not the girls using the platform, and it's not the girls using the guys for their money. You know what I mean? It's not the girls who are doing all of this stuff. The girls are being used by the big bad platform. Right, you always notice, no matter how these stories end, no matter which story we cover on this show, guys, you will always notice that at the end, the woman has to be the victim of it. Look at this, right? Let's have a look. It's always about money. They found success on the backs of a mostly female platform, and they've been, using people. The girls voluntarily choose to sign up for this. This is the exact same kind of logic where the older ladies will say, "Oh, well, I can't believe this 24-year-old is dating a 34-year-old." Right? It's just straight up jealousy. It's just straight up jealousy. That 24-year-old is a consenting adult who is choosing to date the 34-year-old, but you will get these types of people who view it as, "Oh, well, they're just being used." Right? It's very funny how all these girls will be out here saying, we want to make our choices. We want to make our own choices and be able to do whatever we want. And so society will tell them, okay, you can make whatever decisions you want. Now, when those decisions have, bad consequences, or those decisions have an expiry date, then all of a sudden everyone wants to go turn around and say, "Oh, well, those free decisions that you made, they weren't your free decisions. Everyone was forcing you to make them." Guys, notice how at the end, and I'll hammer this point home. Notice how at the end, it always tends to be the man's fault, or it always tends to be the fault of someone else, not the girls actually making the decision. This is something that we talk about in relationships as well. You will notice girls who go out here and they will get themselves into terrible relationships and all of this stuff. And at the end they'll still turn around and blame the man. Now, guys, we're going to wrap up today's show here with a bit of a story that I wanted to just kind of illustrate and connect the first video that we watched at the beginning of today's show, so you can kind of understand how this all pieces together. Now, this is titled, "I, a 32-year-old male, overheard my wife, who is a 31-year-old female, telling her friend that the crazy psycho ex-boyfriend is back in town." So we're just going to jump through and then provide some thoughts. "I wasn't spying. I was cutting the grass and stopped to have a drink. She was on the phone and I overheard her. Basically, her ex is back in town. He tried adding her on Facebook and she accepted. She's been talking to him and feels like he's changed. He wants to meet up to apologize for all of the horrible things he's done to her. She thinks he's sincere and is happy to forgive. Her ex-boyfriend is a genuine crazy man. She had a restraining order for him because of certain things that I can't mention on YouTube. He was that much of a monster. Have I mentioned how awful he was to her? This was 9 years ago. We haven't heard from him since, and I've forgotten about him. I confronted her about all of this and voiced how concerned I was. Honestly, I told her I felt it was a betrayal and she should be open with me. This isn't some old flame. This is a guy who threatens to do certain stuff. He told her that he'd absolutely do something to show that he truly loves her. She acts as if it's no big deal. She's more upset I spied on her, and she claims she's changed and he isn't the monster anymore. He's changed, excuse me. Yeah, sure. Once a monster, always a monster. I refuse to believe that he's reformed. Not one bit. If he's reformed, he'd stay away from her and cut off all contact. She admits she wasn't going to tell me. She didn't want to add to my stress, and it doesn't involve me. Goodness gracious me, we're going to come back to this. He was a word to her, not me. I barely even met him. She dated him for years. This is closure for her, not for me. Gentlemen, it's very funny to say, and this is relating back to the video that we watched together at the beginning of today's show. You know, girls will say, oh, we're just looking for love and affection in relationships. Right? Like, oh, if we cheat on a man, it's because we're missing something and we're looking for love and relationships. Love and affection, excuse me. That is not always the case. In fact, it is rarely ever the case. These girls out here, they want to have fun with the bad boys. They want to chase the guys who, quite honestly, treat them poorly. Now, don't get it twisted what I'm saying here. I'm not advocating for you guys to go out there and treat girls poorly. That is not what I'm saying at all. All I'm saying is please understand that the behavior that girls are attracted to, or the kind of behavior that they will tolerate from men that they are attracted to, those things are things that girls actively seek out. Right, girls are in relationships with bad boys by choice. You see, what ends up happening is these girls will go through these sorts of experiences, right? And then what they'll do is when they're 30 and 40, they'll turn around and say, okay, well, I need a real man, right? And they're going to convince some guy that he's going to be useful to her and that she loves him and, you know, all this kind of crap. And she's so glad that he's not like all the rest. So he's going to come into her life, right? He's going to get married with her. I mean, look at this, right? Right on time. 32-year-old male, 31-year-old wife, they're going to get married together, and she's going to tell him, oh, I'm so happy that you came along and saved me from all of these terrible people. You're not like all the other guys I dated, right? And little does he understand that at the first sign, she's going to run off and go back with that ex that treated her poorly or she had the relationship with, because it's about the excitement. This man right here obviously cares very much about their relationship. You know, he seems to care very much about her, and yet she's still going to run off and at least chat to this guy. You know, I had a comment on, we're kind of going to wrap up today's video on this thought here, gentlemen. I had a comment on a show the other day that said, Taylor, how is Facebook cheating? You know, how is Instagram cheating? Guys, girls will use social media platforms to garner attention and accept or decline that attention. So what's going to happen is she's going to put up her profile on Instagram. She's going to put up her profile on Facebook, albeit Facebook is not as useful to them for this. And she's going to get all the attention from dudes, right, while you're in a relationship with her. And then she's going to filter through it. And if her ex comes back into the picture, I mean, so be it. But Instagram and Facebook are essentially business cards for dating nowadays, gentlemen. So that's why I say it's cheating. But gentlemen, we're going to leave today's episode there. Make sure you leave your thoughts and comments. If you disagree with anything I've said, feel free to do so below. Plenty of room for disagreement on this one, and we are running over time. So make sure you leave your comments, guys. Subscribe on your way out. Come and join Locals and the Discord links in the description so you do not lose the channel if anything happens. And we're going to call it there. As always, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I will see you boys in the next video. Peace.